I accompanied with G. Polygarison and N. Murugan to complete this project under the guidance of Dr. S. Alagamal ma'am, Associate Professor of Electrical and Electronics Department. Our title is Fertilizer and Crop Recommendation based on soil analysis using machine learning. This is the objective of our project to develop the crop and fertilizer recommendation system based on real-time soil data to minimize the crop loss and land pollute in the agriculture, to make appropriate decisions regarding crop and fertilizer selection for farming practices of the output system. Motivation. This is the motivation of our project. The motivation of our project is to enhance the agriculture productivity, to utilize the emerging technologies, as well as addressing the knowledge gaps. These are the literature surveys. This is the block diagram of our proposed system. First, the data is collected from the website named Gaggle. Then the data is get cleaned, like which are the data we doesn't require. We removing all those data. And after the data cleansing is complete, the data is split into two types, namely train data and test data. 70% of the data is fitted for train and 30% of the data is fitted for test. The using the deep learning model, the train data is getting trained, and the once the training is complete, we test using the remaining 30% of the data. Once all those training and testing is completed, now the system is ready for the real-time actual data. Now the actual data is fed to the system and it predicts the type of crop and fertilizer which is required for the soil based on the real-time soil data. And now our system predicts the right type of fertilizer or crop, and the value is sent to the Arduino, and the Arduino sends the signals to the respective motor driver. Now the motor driver turns on the fertilizer pump according fertilizer.
Technology, data collection, gather data on fertilizer and crop yields, nutrient including nutrient requirements like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, humidity, pH, moisture, etc. Data preprocess, clean and preprocess the collected data to remove any inconsistency or missing values. Feature selection, identify the relevant features that influence crop growth and fertilizer efficiency. Model selection, choose the DNN network densely and fully connected algorithm for simplicity and effectiveness for probabilistic classification. Divide the datasets into two parts: training dataset and testing set. Model training. Train the training model using the training datasets. Model testing and validation. Test the trained model using the testing dataset to assess its accuracy and capability. System integration. Develop a system to integrate the trained model with real-time data. Decision support. Implement the system to provide farmers to support the highest fertilizer and crop combination for optimal growth. These are the datasets for the crop and fertilizer. For the crop datasets, there are 7 input and 1 output layer. And the input layers are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, temperature, humidity, pH, type. And the output layers are labeled. The fertilizer datasets, there are 8 input layers and 1 output layer. The input layers are temperature, humidity, moisture, soil type, crop type, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. The output layers are fertilizer. These are the datasets labeled. In this machine learning, we will give the numeric data only. So they label the data. The crop level 0 for rice, 1 for maize, up to the 21 for coffee. And the fertilizer level, urea, the fertilizer name is urea, DAP, the fertilizer name is ammonium nitrogen phosphate, to 20, 26, 26, I, phosphorus and I potassium fertilizer. Relationship between parameters, dataset parameters. There are HX, so HX we give the input for the datasets. The previous we give the label 0 for to compare the datasets parameters.
It's a proposed system. This proposed system consists of one input class and one output class and 4 hidden layers. Each hidden layers has dense layers, normalization layers, the leaky relief layers, and dropout layers. The normalization layers are used for smooth curve, and the dropout layer for extra future learning. And it is our output. It's a confusion matrix of our DNN normalization. We can get up to the accuracy of 98%, which is more than the previous model. And it's an accuracy and loss graph. It was trained against epochs. For 200 epochs, we can get up to the maximum training accuracy and the validation accuracy with smooth curve. And it is a ROC curve. It was for each classes. Our Dataset has 20 to 21 classes. For each class, we are able to get the AAC of one probability. So our model was trained well and it will perform well. And it is a comparison of GNB and our proposed DNN model. While comparing, as we are able to see, the specificity, RCAUC graph, and F1 score recall precision accuracy for both training and validation was improved while comparing with the GNB model, and log loss are reduced by comparing to GNB model.
This is the output for crop prediction. It gives the input for input data, get the output, the output predicted crop yield grades. This is the output for fertilizer prediction. I give the input data, input fertilizer data, and get the output predicted fertilizer.
This is the hardware model in which we uses three main components: Arduino, motor driver, and fertilizer pumps. Actually, in the software we uses seven fertilizer types, but for the simplicity of the prototype, we just uses three fertilizer pumps: 2028 DAP and urea. As I mentioned in the block diagram, once the system model predicts the fertilizer, it, it sends the data to the Arduino board. Now the Arduino board sends a signal to the motor driver to turn on the respective fertilizer pumps. These are the some of the references that we are looking for. Thank you.